Everybody has something that brings them back to their childhood, whether it's their favorite song, favorite old movie, or even an old comic book. Our friend Jeremy and his kids love pirates, and his favorite movie growing up was Goonies. So while we were working on a vinyl Goonies themed poster for Jeremy's pool, he asked if we could do a Goonies theme on his pearl white Harley. I didn't think Dale was going to go for it, but we told him we'd take a look at it.
So when Jason told me about what Jeremy wanted on his motorcycle, I knew it was going to be a nightmare. I mean, we do not wrap a lot of motorcycles because it's just such a pain in the ass. I mean, there's not many materials involved, but the labor involved in ripping the bike apart, and it's just, man, it's just so much work. But Jeremy's been a great friend of ours for years. It's hard to turn him down, and the theme of the bike is really interesting. I'm kind of interested in doing this Goonies wrap.
So for the base of the wrap, we decided to use the Goonies treasure map, which was one of the most iconic visual elements from the movie. This created some issues though, because it's very complex line art and we had to figure out a way to make that work on the background. From there, we wanted to add different Goonies themed aspects, but we wanted to make each aspect a little more subtle than the next, so that you had to look closer and closer at the motorcycle to see them. Almost like the motorcycle itself was a treasure map with lost iconic symbols. Once we got the design done, Rick and I had to walk around the bike to figure out what had to be disassembled to make the wrap go as smoothly as possible. I'll probably do these back pieces separate because see how I've got it? I've got the map coming here, so I'll probably do a seam right there. So it'll be a separate back piece and then the front. Unfortunately, the tank is definitely the hardest part. In order to do a big round object like this, we need to have it off the motorcycle and probably mounted to a jig so that we can stretch the vinyl tight around it. We'll probably have to build a custom jig.
Yeah, it's not easy to wrap a motorcycle because of all the multiple curves. You got compound curves going every which way.
This curve right here is going to be the tricky part. When we've done this in the past, it's usually taken 2 or 3 tries to get a good tank graphic on where it's not stretched or warped too bad. There's definitely a few pieces here that are what we would call unwrappable. This guy right here, we should be able to pull this guy off and send it to the paint booth and spray it glossy black so that it blends in with the rest of the motorcycle and the wrap design. This particular bike, its original owner had a handicap. So he, in order to make the bike easier to get on and off of, installed airbags. It has airbags both front and back. It can raise almost a foot up off the ground. We want to turn all the white areas of this motorcycle into the orange and yellow coloring of the vehicle wrap. So we don't want any white showing, and a bunch of that white is trapped underneath this complex air compressor system.
We'll figure that out.
This is why we never wrap motorcycles.
That white is pretty.
It's a nice...
I'm just saying. Yeah, you know, after looking at the design, I think the white looks good.
We should just leave it.
It's good. Call Jeremy.
Yeah. We're done. Good job. Good job, everybody. When wrapping a motorcycle, a big part of it is taking it apart. It takes a lot of time to properly take a very expensive motorcycle apart. You got to be real careful. Wrapping these curvy areas is tricky, and it makes it easier if you have the part off of the motorcycle so that you can put it in the direction that you're going to be pulling the vinyl. Trying to wrap that tank on the bike, when they get around to the bottom, their knuckles are going to be hitting the pistons. Can't have that. You got to be able to pull the vinyl past where it's visible. And while I think that gas tank is going to be one of the most difficult parts of it, the fairing and that front fender aren't going to be much easier either.
So you got LEDs under this? And that's what's catching me up.
Explain the bell to Tom also.
Right here on a lot of the Harleys, you'll see this little bell right there.
It chases away the road gremlins. The bell underneath keeps the gremlins on the road from getting up on your bike.
How do you get it?
Somebody has to give it to you. A friend, a family member, somebody gives you the bell. You can't buy your own bell.
I can see where it's running. It's just running along the edge. Yep. Oh, watch it. Yep. Don't clear. Watch your. You clear. And free. There we go. All right. That is a beautiful fender.
16.
Have to do it.
That's what.
I like getting to be involved with manly stuff.
See, this is the extent of Jason's helping right here. Sorry.
I can hold something while somebody else does the work.
He's not allowed with power tools or anything, man. If Jason comes near a power tool, we're like, oh, no. Step away. Oh, it's so smooth, so sweet. But this is held on with a little bit of silicone and VHB, so it should be, if we pull it off nice and gently, it should pop right out.
If you crack that headlight lens, it's easier to get that out of there.
You are jinxing the out of me. Go away. I got it. Oh, look at that, so gooey. Got bolt.
Yeah, I don't know if we don't need to pull the tank off tonight, I don't think.
If anything
Yeah, I
is
hear
an
you.
indication of what that is down there, it might be twice as bad under here.
You see the side cover?
That's what I'm saying, all that, spaghetti wire over there, it may be twice as bad under here for all we know.
We could leave it there and see what the wrap guys think.
That's what I would do, yeah, because that's a big pain in the ass.
All right, well, we'll see what they think.
I'm looking at a two-dimensional design on a screen, and Pete and Lumpy are looking at a three-dimensional curvy motorcycle. So we have to get our heads together and work as a team to get it done. We have to work together to figure out which pieces work and which don't, and where I have to change my design on the fly to make it work. In this case, when we did the front fender of the motorcycle, I thought that the vinyl would be able to come down around the edges and then meet with the round piece on the side. But the vinyl wasn't able to make it too far over the edge. So my first attempt, the circular side piece, was way too small, and we ended up having to make it much larger. And we had to make the top piece a little bit more narrow to accommodate. And we also had to adjust the colors going along, because as you can see, the colors on the front of the fender needs to match the colors on the side of the fender. And as we changed sizes, it changed the location of the gradient. So it took a few tries again to get that all right. Once again, this is why we don't like doing motorcycles. It's hard to predict how the vinyl is going to react to all the curvy surfaces.
So what advice would you give to a young rapper in dealing with this fender?
What advice could I give about this?
I think I would say paint it and don't wrap it.
It's good advice, Lump. Good advice.
The truth is, though, we're not going to paint this. We're going to do it in 3 pieces and try to make it look nice. That way the stress from the curves aren't all on the one piece of vinyl and it doesn't peel back up as easy. When you stretch it over what it likes to go back to, that's when you start having failing, once the glue spreads too thin.
So getting the artwork to land on the different parts of the motorcycle in the right spots is one of the challenging aspects of this. Motorcycles are very difficult, lots of curves and angles, and when you put a big square piece of vinyl on it, it twists and turns and takes on the shape. So very tricky getting these elements to work together.
Most people would think that wrapping a motorcycle is going to be easier than wrapping a car because the pieces are so small, but in fact that's not true. You got all these pieces that go on the side of the bike that are going to have to line up once you put them all back together. So we're having to wrap these pieces, put them back on the bike, line up the other pieces that go in front of it, and try to line up all the graphics, which is merely impossible to do. This piece here is relatively hard because it has all these concaves, and then it goes around all these corners here. You got to make it all sure it's all nice and tight with no wrinkles, and it's not that fun to do. This headlight piece here, there's no way to wrap this without doing 1,000 seams on it, so we're just gonna have to go ahead and paint it black.
So we were trying to avoid completely disassembling this motorcycle, but after walking it with Lumpy and Pete, we realized that we need to take this thing completely apart.
Well, they need to disassemble it then. We can probably do the rear fender on the bike, but the gas tank, the fairings, they all have to come off. You can't even get your hand in between the tank and the front here. Well, first you take it off because you can't fit here.
Okay, once you get it off though, how are you going to keep it from keeping the integrity of the image?
That we're going to have to do it as we do it. That's going to be a bitch.
That's gonna be a bitch.
This is my beach.
This is my beach.
Pirate bike disassembly, take 2. But before Rick got started this time, we wanted to make sure that everything that needed to be taken apart was.
Do you want the fairing off of there to wrap it, or is it going to be easier for you to leave it on?
It'll be easier if that's off.
We take off the turn signals? Yep. All right. All right, you got all your tools over there?
Yeah, I got everything's in that box that Steve had there.
Nice toolbox. Here's our lead fabricator. This is his toolbox. He probably has 14 of them over there with different tools in them.
We're gonna get the pizza box, the tour pack, and the tank off so it's easier to get to this rear fender. That way we can get everything wrapped up nice and easy. There goes the air.
Oh, I hear it. Oh, it's like Cracker Jacks. What prize do I get today? Oh, look what I got. Put it up on there. You got it?
Yep.
It's not too heavy for you?
No, I think I'll make it.
That tank full of air really makes it weigh a lot more. And he's all right with the fender?
Yeah, he said as long as they could access the top of the fender, he was good. All right, you're clear.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he might have went by the gas station on the way here. I think it's full. All right. Let me see. See how much gas is in this thing.
And windscreen bolts are already out. Only thing we'll have to do is on the very top right here, there's 2 wiring harnesses. There you go. Now that's free.
Skeletor bike. Wow, we can pull the rear light off in the license plate holder. That's gonna be a pain in the ass without getting the fender fascia.
Well, you can reach up and in.
On this here.
All right, well this does not want to reach. It's such an odd angle.
Oh my God. Oh geez, it is up there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That stupid freaking hitch thing.
It's that hitch is right in the way.
I can't even get my freaking hand up in there. I can see it from here. I think I got a 100th of a turn on it that time. I just can't hold it on there.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can sneak in this way.
It's turning. Ow.
Let me just throw that at you.
If this hitch thing wasn't here. Shit. Shit. Shit.
Oh, there one again.
Shit. All right. Stop for a minute before I throw a wrench. It's always the case. You get all the big stuff off and think it's going to be hard, and it's that last little piece that bites you in the ass. Might be time for my favorite tool. I need a BFH right now.
This is one of those few times where having a kid in the garage is super helpful. It's like, put your tiny little hand in there and grab this.
Yeah, there's a bracket coming here and here that holds this hitch piece on. It's right behind this little black cover
down
here. And directly above that is where a bolt on one side and bolt on the other side for the taillight assembly. This side's out.
One side's done. I just got to get this one freed up. I almost got it now. There it is.
Got
there it is.
Yeah, we're off.
Nice.
Here, make sure we keep all the tools together. There you go.
Well, Rick and the Harley boys in there finally got that bike taken apart, and now the fun begins. So Steve is going to have to make some stationary jigs that we can mount the parts to so that Lumpy and Pete have a nice surface area to work on when they're wrapping these parts. So then we got to get the whole bike wrapped, we got to get it all put back together in the next 2 days when Jeremy's coming back to pick it up. God, I hate wrapping motorcycles. Make sure you tune in next week to find out how we wrap this bike up and finish the project. Hope you guys are enjoying what you're seeing. If you are, make sure you hit subscribe and leave some comments for us. We'd like to hear what you're thinking about the episodes. Thank you for watching the Media One Wrap This YouTube channel.